I really didn't think I was going to do this, but here I am. So I just wrapped up a live stream, and I said to my audience that I would just go home. But like I said, here I am again. So we have this bass here on the workbench. This is the UNIVOX bass that's been on this bench already once. We had it on the bench. And we couldn't finish the job because the strings did not fit correctly. So I had to make 4 of these Extendos. So that's my own invention. Now, I don't know. Well, I guess I am taking credit. I did invent them, but I could have reinvented something that has already been invented. I don't really know. I don't care. Do you? So the strings we're going to be putting on this bass are these Mustang strings, okay? And they don't fit properly because I'll show you why. First, let's remove that plate. Yeah, we always need to use the right screwdriver. So yeah, so you're watching Guitar Quackery Live, which is, you know, a live streaming guitar repair channel. I thought it was the one and only, but it turns out that someone else is doing it. I think the guy's name is not Marshall. I don't know, maybe Marshall. I don't know. Someone told me. But he's doing it differently, so it's a different live streaming guitar channel. Yeah, man. So I did a whole bunch of work on this bass already, and I feel like I really need to finish it tonight. The owner of the bass has been super patient, and I did send him a link just now. Well, before I logged on, so he can. Oh, Dr. Sarah is back. I am live again, yes. I changed my mind. I have so much work, so many guitars. I need to finish them, and I really need to finish this one. So I did a whole bunch of work on this. I don't know how much you heard, but I did a whole bunch of work on this, and the strings did not fit properly, and that's, you know, sometimes a problem with basses. So I already opened the packet, and the problem is these strings are made for a different bass, for the Mustang string through body bass. So these strings have relatively long string ends, you know, this part. And you can see, hold on, that this, if you string it through, the saddle is right here. So that's not a playable part of the string, so that should not be at this side of the saddle, right? So sometimes it seems to be almost impossible to find the right strings for certain basses, especially if the basses aren't standard in some whatever ways, like this one isn't. It's a short scale, vintage bass. No one seems to make strings that fit perfectly. Or maybe someone does, but you need to buy a whole bunch of expensive bass strings and open the packages to find out. And we're not doing that. So what we are doing is this. So this is my invention or reinvention. I call it an extendo because it extends the position of the strings, okay? And I'll show you. So once again, if we just thread this through, you see where this would fall. It needs to be like this. So what do you do with this? Well, you pass it through the extendo, okay? Here, like that, okay? So this fits inside, and now the string is going to fit like this, the way we want it to fit. So let's pass the string through the back. Now I'm just noticing that this screw isn't seated properly. Oh, it doesn't budge. No, I already removed this bridge plate, right? Because I cleaned it. Okay, so like I said, I did a whole bunch of work on it already. Polish the frets. I believe that I cut the nut already. We'll check everything. With the old strings, which were different strings, round wounds. And this goes here. There you go. All right? So you can see this now really fits properly. And you know, we pull it like this. And now on the headstock side, we'll look at that later. All right, so let's just put the strings on first through the back. So I made 4 of these because that's what's needed. I invented these for a friend who is a bass player in 2 bands, Miasmatic Necrosis and Uniform. His name is Dr. Dan. Okay? Dan Olivencia the second. I don't know why the second, why not Junior, but that's how they named him. So I have a video on the main channel, Guitar Quackery. And I think I even showed the full fabrication of the Extendos in my fabrication shop. I believe so, yeah, if memory serves me. So that's an interesting video to watch. Oh, I gotta put my switcher app on my phone. There you go. Yeah, so like I said, I did come up with this solution on my own, but it wouldn't surprise me if I'm not the only one. So if anyone else invented this independently, good for you. But I did invent it myself independently as well. Who else is here? Oh, Dr. Mark Kinney is here. Hello, everyone. Yeah. Why not just cut the string? Well, you can't. You can't, Doctor. So if you cut the string, well, then you lose the ball end, right? You cut it. And then somehow you need to attach the ball end. And what's underneath this is like a machine wound thing, right? You can't just kind of do it. Especially because if you try to do something like this, you would loosen the winding on the string, and the string would not play properly. It would not sound properly anymore. So you can't just cut the string. And honestly, if you try to cut it and rewind that thing, it will probably take more time than making these anyway, right? So, and this is better. And look, this looks really cool anyway. Makes it really unique. So my friend who plays the bass for Miasmatic Necrosis and Uniform is really getting a lot of attention because of the Extendos, but he only has it on these 2 strings. So only 2 Extendos on his bass. That was all that was needed. And like I said, if you watch that video, you will see why. And yeah, okay. So now also the other reason why we need the Extendos in this case is because of this, which I'm about to show you. in this case, now that we have the extendos there, this part of the string is perfectly aligned between the nut and the tuning post. Otherwise, this was too close and was wrapping around the tuning post. But now it's perfect. So that's how we want it. And just need to cut the string and wind it. Hold on. Okay, so we need this and the winder. I think this one works for this for these tuning machines. Yeah, that's it. All right. So we don't have much work left. Let's keep the extendos in full view here. They are the star of the show today. Yeah, so I'll cut the string here. That's it. These aren't the best tuning machines, but they are the original ones. Yeah, so we're keeping them. And I guess once you tune the bass, that's it. Okay, so we want to check that everything is aligned properly. Like I said, I already polished the frets, I already worked on the bass and the nut. I believe the nut, we'll double check that. And now we just need to finish the setup so that the customer, who is actually really nice and cool, can pick it up and play it, plug it in and play it. Okay, so when you do this kind of wrap, it's going to twist the string. So you need to untwist it. Okay, make sure you're not twisting the string. If you twist the string, it can actually unwind. I mean, the winding can become loose on it, right? We don't want that. Absolutely not. Okay, so here, I am just checking to make sure they're seated properly. So this one isn't, because it's not at full tension yet, or any tension. I'm going to do this one first. And here we go. So we have, where are my snips? Okay, they are here. Okay. So once again, this does twist the string. So now I hold it there at the nut and I untwist it, you see? So that it's not twisted. And now we wrap the string. Okay. And one more. Sorry about that. I pushed the wrong button. Like that. And now we untwist the string. That's it. Now, we finish the setup. So honestly, what I like to do in a case like this is let it sit for a little time, because if you put heavy books on a shelf, the shelf is gonna sag overnight, right? So same thing can happen with a guitar neck, or in this case, bass neck. But we can still do some work, and then I can just double check in a day, you know, just to make sure that if anything changes, it's just going to be the neck developing a little more relief, and I can always tweak that. So in an ideal world, I would put this on, tune it to pitch, and then let it sit for a day, and then finish the setup. But when that's not an option, I can still finish the setup, and then I will check it in a day or two. And if anything changed, it'll just be the neck relief, and I can tweak that and check the rest, obviously, but you know, that's probably the only thing that would change. That's the only thing that should change. If anything else changes, then there's a problem. So the strings are too high. We might need to shim the neck. I'm not sure. Let's do an initial adjustment of the neck relief. So I have this straight edge for the bass. It's a longer one than the one we use on guitars, but this is a short scale bass. And here we have feeler gauges. I'm gonna probably have to open the truss rod cover. So on a 34-inch scale length, you know, I want the relief to be 11 1/1000 of an inch. Here it could be less, like 9-ish is okay, 9-ish, 10. So this is 11 passing through. This is 16 passing through 20. Yeah, so not really. 18 passing. Okay, now let's check the other side. 18 does not pass. How about 13? Does. 14 also, but not this one. Okay, so we do need to remove the truss rod cover. So right here, and adjust the relief. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this is going to be a 5mm truss rod wrench. I'm sorry, wrench? No. I'm going to have to use a 5mm truss rod wrench, and it's one of those that I really need a short one because I don't think a regular 5mm will fit inside. So let's check. That's a 4.5. This is a 5mm. Okay. So let's see. See, it doesn't fit at this angle, right? This is not well designed, but I do have a solution. I had to shorten an Allen key for my bicycle brakes. Okay, so my bicycle is right here. I have it in my toolbox. And that's the same I had to use on a UNIVOX Hi-Flyer. So if you just excuse me for a few seconds. A Hi-Flyer guitar, okay, had the same situation. And I ended up using a modified, I have it right here in my hand, basically shortened Allen key. All right, so this is what I used on the guitar, on the UNIVOX Hi-Flyer guitar. So now it fits perfectly. Okay, now I don't want to damage the strings, so we'll do this. But I do want them at tension, right? Okay, this is okay. Okay, it fits. We want to release it first a little bit and now tighten it. Okay, so here it's already hitting this part. So this is as far as it's going to go. And you can barely fit it in from here, from the other side. Okay, but it is time to start measuring. So this time I'm just going to measure it in the middle because the string is here. I really don't have a good way of measuring. Or, hold on. Yeah, it was quite a lot, right? So let's for now just measure in the middle. We have a little bit of a differential relief, but we won't worry about it now. Sometimes it adjusts equally on both sides and sometimes not, so let's not worry about it. So this is 16 1/1000ths, does not pass. 14 passes. So we do want to crank it up a little more. And now let's see what we got here. So it's right in the middle on the 8th fret. So that's 14 1/1000ths, does not pass. 13 does not pass. 12 does not. 11 passes. Let's put it a little closer to the bass side. Passes, barely. A little closer to the treble side. Passes more easily. So we do want to tighten it just a little more, I think. Okay, and at this point, I want to put the string back here. And this one as well. And we want to measure each side separately, right? Because we have a differential relief, which means it's not the same on both sides. So this is a 11 1/1000ths. It's not passing. 8 1/1000ths. isn't passing. Oh, look at that. 6 1/1000ths is passing. And here 6 is passing, 8 is passing, 11 isn't. So we actually just want to release it just a little bit. Just a little bit. That's a good thing. That's good news. And now we measure again. So let's see, 11 isn't passing, 8. We really want 8 to pass through. So let's release it a little more. I want it like around 9 maybe. 8 is also fine, I think, for this kind of bass. But we are not at 8 yet. So release a little more in this direction. Okay. And this straight edge is really heavy. So 8 passes, 11 does not. So we are either at 9. So 8 passes kind of easily. So I think we're either at 9 or 10, which is where we want to be. Now, let's see on the bass side. 8 passes, 11 passes, 12 does not. Excellent. So we have a differential relief, a little more relief on the bass side than here. So I think we have 9 and 11, and I think that's exactly what we want. So at this point, I'm going to say that the neck relief is good. Now, will it change overnight? I don't know, but I am going to check when the time comes. So right now, I want to determine if we need to adjust the neck angle. But hold on. Let me just double check the... oh, we need to file the nut. So it's too high. We do need to file it down. Yeah, it's too high. All right, so here I have my files right here. So we only have 4 strings to deal with on the bass to file. That's good news. Let me double check. We have 43, 60, 82, and 104 in this case. Okay. In terms of gauges. And now we do the job. So here we're looking at the low E string, and apparently it's not, it's too high, right? I am going to use this mechanical pencil. It's a 0.3 millimeters. And here you can see on the inside, I am going to just draw a line like that. Okay, so this will help me because I can see exactly where I am removing material. So right now, I can see that I'm just hitting the sides. Okay, you can see that I'm removing material on the 2 sides. You can see that, right? So I haven't reached the bottom yet. I haven't hit the bottom. So I'm confirming that by looking at the file and also by seeing that I'm not removing the pencil mark. So now this tells me that the string, as it was seated, was not seated all the way. So I wanna put it there and now check that it's not too low. It isn't. So because I don't know if that bottom might actually even be too low in theory, right? Because the string is not seated all the way down because the string slot is too narrow closer to the bottom. So I'm reshaping the bottom of the string slot right now. Just the back end of the nut. And put the string in. And I see that it's still too high, right? One thing that I do want to do is I want to protect the headstock there. So I'll just put a piece of tape like this. Okay. And now I can file confidently. So it looks like we had a high point at the front, which now it's hitting it. And look at this glue here. So this is some kind of glue that's spilled. Actually, it's squeezed out. I want to remove it. Now, yeah, technically we're missing a little bit of the nut here. So, you know, it chipped off over time. It's really not going to affect the intonation in this case. That little discrepancy. It's still too high. Okay. Okay, let's put the string back and again check the height. It's still too high. Now we always need to be careful with especially the first string or last string on the bass, because we always get a little bit of arching here, and we don't want to get a false read, false measurement, because eventually this will settle down into a more like a straight string, not no arching here, right? Eventually. So when it settles down, you don't want it to be too close to the fret. So it's way, way, way too high. So I can still file confidently. And at this point, you can see that I'm also hitting the bottom, right? Because I have powder at the bottom, and obviously we were removing the pencil mark. I can add another one here. we want to keep checking frequently enough so that we don't file it too low. We want to open up the back end of the nut. It needs to be wider at the back, kind of like funnel shape. So if I don't finish it tonight, it's not a big deal because, like I said, it's good to let it sit. So now, because we lowered the knot, this now went out of tune, right? So we need to increase the pitch a little bit. I think that's an E. And let's, yeah, because it changes the arching if it's at the correct tension, right? But it's really high still. Right? We don't want it too high. When it's too high, you are increasing the tension of the string before you can play the note against the fret. And when you increase string tension, it goes out of tune. You are basically playing sharp. And last thing you want on a bass is to play any notes that are sharp out of tune. That's not, you know, a good idea for a bass. If a bass is going to be slightly out of tune, it should be playing slightly flat, not slightly sharp. And that can actually make it sound more in tune, by the way. So here I'm measuring the string height. We're getting down to the right height. I probably want to move the camera down a little bit, give you a better view. Oh, look at that. There are quite a few people watching today. 9 people watching, 4 likes. So 5 of you don't like it. Pete Shock, 2757. I have a white Hi-Flyer bass. It's the best. So welcome to the channel, Pete Shock. Pete Shock 2757. Why did you put tape? So that I don't scratch the surface of the headstock by accident, right? Because when I file, I need to tilt the file in this direction, and now you see it's hitting the surface a little bit. I've scratched people's guitars before, and some people were pissed. And some people, I charged them more for relicking. Yeah, I'm not going to relic for free. People pay for that. Now, this is a good height now, okay? It could still go a little bit lower. We'll see. This is what we have. And if you look at this one, so this is now against the 2nd fret. Look at that. And this one, all right? And this one. Okay, so we do need to file down all of them. I'm going to leave this as is right now. Just a little more. Just one more, okay? one more pass. Like that. All right. Oh, this looks good. So we have a little bit of relief left. I can show you. You see? And we can even measure it, obviously. That's good. So you can see it. So first, I push it down against the second fret, and this is what's. Oh, I'm sorry. It just shot up, overshot, right? Depending on how you push it, sometimes it overshoots a little bit. Yeah, nothing's perfect. So now we are going to file down the A string slot. These are Music Nomad files, diamond files. So we got quite some height to take down. And I don't think we even need to do this, but let's do it anyway. See, so it's just like I thought, it's hitting the sides first, just like on the other one. And you can see on the file that it was just hitting the sides at first. Now it's starting to hit the bottom a little bit. Not really. I think I was hitting the bottom at the back. Let's see. Now it's starting to hit the bottom. Okay. Open up at the back. So I like to first shape the bottom and then adjust the height. No need to measure when I see that it's clearly too high. It's getting there. And friends, look how cool the extendos are. So this is going to go here, and we're still going to see them. Look at that. Really cool. Okay. Let's check again. Too high. These are really, really nice strings. I really like Labella flat wound. They're like silk. I have a Mustang bass, and I am going to put these strings on my own personal Mustang bass. I don't play. Well, I kind of bought it 6 or 8 months ago, and I started playing. Now I'm not even playing because I wanted actually to start recording videos to document my progress on the bass. Just never had time to start recording those videos. So yeah, but I really want to do that. I want to clean up an area to make it look cool for me to play the bass in my house, in the basement, for the videos. Maybe even start a bass channel, Guitar Quackery Bass. This looks good. Still a little too high. Yeah, so I want Guitar Quackery on YouTube to actually be a network of channels. So we have Guitar Quackery, and we have, that's the main channel, and then we have, now you're watching Guitar Quackery Live. I think I'm going to start Guitar Quackery Shorts. This is good. Look at that. There's a little gap. And yeah, let me just move it in this direction so you can see. Against the second fret. And yeah, we could even go a little lower. Why don't we do that? Okay. Don't overdo it because we're approaching the, 0 zone. I'm going to leave it at that. Okay. I think that, no, just a little more. I want it to be nice and comfortable. I don't want the strings to play sharp on the first 2 frets. Let me see. See, one thing with short scale basses, this distance on the first fret is smaller, and it does tend to play sharp because it's a smaller distance and because you're fretting it out closer to the anchoring point, right? But I don't want to go any lower than this. All right, so let's do the D string. And once we're done with the nut, we're almost done with the whole job. Okay. So we move it here like this. Okay. You see, this one isn't too narrow. So here I'm already hitting the bottom. I just want to shape the backhand first. All right. We got some work to do. But I always first reshape and then I adjust the height, if that makes sense. Because I want the bottom of the nut slot of the string slot to have the right curve, which you can't see from above. You would need like a 3D microscope, which I have. But you see, I'm reshaping it now. I'm hitting the back first. I want that to be lower than the front. So this procedure that I just did not lower the string slot at all, right? Because it did not affect this part of the string slot. So now it's been reshaped. I'm reshaping it first, right? And this ensures that the string will be seated nicely anchored at the front. Okay? And now that it's been reshaped, Now I am going to hit the front like this. You see, I'm removing the pencil mark, and I follow the new shape of the string slot of the bottom of the string slot with my file. So I tilt it like this as I file. So first reshape and then adjust the height. Still too high. We're getting there, but I can still see that it's too high. And because the strings are pulling the neck is settling, right? So we are going to check the relief again after we're done filing the nut. See if it changed. So Guitar Quackery is known for a guitar microscopy. And you get a nice view during live streams as well. Now on the main channel, same thing. Nice visuals. But the microscopy part is almost like old news. I think it's too high. It is too high. I just want to see by how much at this point. Right? We're getting there. Yeah, so the microscopy, guitar microscopy, is almost like, is yesterday's news because, well, it's been a few years, quite a few years. And now I'm doing 3D scanning. See, a little distance. I can confirm this if I show you a visual like this. "20 microns, and you can see that it's passing easily, even 30 microns, even 40 microns. Oh, there's a few here, 50 microns, right? So, yeah, we want that little gap to remain there, okay? But here, it's way too high for good bass performance. One more, our G string. So it's a 43 gauge. Yeah. So normally, I would use a 46 gauge file for a 45 gauge string. In this case, I'm going to use a 42 gauge file for a 43 gauge string, right? And if it needs to be adjusted later for some wider strings, sorry, then it can be done at a later time, right? So, and we look inside, what we see. What is that? It looks flat at the back, right? This looks like a flat, squarish. So again, we want to reshape it, so I don't need to put a pencil mark. I have already this. And all I'm going to do is hit the back at the beginning, like this. And you can see that I'm reshaping the backhand into a more rounded profile. And now I can start actually filing the height. So it's going to take a few passes. I'm filing it confidently now because, yeah, the string was really, really high, right? And it still is. Check and verify. It's getting there. So you don't have a file for every possible gauge of string, right? So, yeah. So here we're using a 42 gauge file for a 43 gauge string. It's not going to cut exactly 42 1/1000ths of an inch, right? So it's still a hand tool. Okay. We're getting close. We are. Now, my tap test tells me that we're close. And at this point, I know that we're too high, but I want to know by how much. You know, that kind of helps me adjust my pressure, right? So we're really close. I want to be really careful now. I could even leave it like this. So just a short pass, not pushing down too much. If I wasn't measuring, I would say maybe one more pass. And leave it at that, maybe. Let's see. Oh, yeah. So. I could do one more pass. And maybe we're done with the knot now. That's good. All right, so we'll leave it at that. And look at the extendos. And now we are going to double check our neck relief just to see if the strings might have pulled the neck a little bit. And obviously adjust it if needed. And then we start adjusting the string height at the saddles. No, you know what? We are going to tilt this neck, I think. I'm almost sure. I might be wrong. So I'm going to put these files away. Yeah, it's a good looking instrument. It looks even better with the Extendos, don't you think? So the owner is a bass player. Surprise. And I worked on, I think this is the third bass that he had me work on. He brought 3 of them at the same time. I finished a Sano bass, Sano. There was a live stream of the project. It's archived now, and it's being played, I'm sure. All right. So now I can remove this tape from here. Because I'm no longer going to scratch the headstock. No chance of that happening. And I might need to access the truss rod anyway. We don't need the microscope for now. So let's do this. I know it's too high. I just want to see by how much. Way too high. So at this point, I am curious to know what is the radius of this fingerboard. I'm gonna guess maybe 14 inch, 12 inch maybe. Let's see. There's a 10 inch here, 12 inch. Let's try this. Okay, let's put it over one of the frets. And let's see if the feeler gauge fits on the sides. So, yeah, I mean, the sides of the fretboard sometimes are kind of rolled. I think that's the situation here. So it's a 12 inch radius. We are going to use the 12 inch radius gauge to adjust the radius at the saddles. So first, let me lower. Now, what I'm talking about, I said I would check the relief, right? So once again, I put this right at the neck joint so that I don't add additional relief to the neck. And we did have 11 1/1000s here, right? If I remember correctly. 11 passing, 12 not passing. Oh, okay. And here we have 8 barely passing. Look at that. Doesn't even want to pass, you see? So it kind of settled and adjusted. 6. Okay, 6 is passing. 8 isn't. You know, if it plays well like this, we'll leave it leave it like this. No, I'm not expecting to see this, but you see, guitar necks or bass necks work in mysterious ways, I guess. I do need a screwdriver, flathead, and might as well put the tuner here because we are going to change the pitch. I got to lower it anyway. I'm going to lower the D string as well. Let's lower these and then we'll retune first. Because right now it's just way too high. So we want to get it in the range of acceptable. Oh, so now it's not playing because it's touching the pickup. So we need to lower this pickup. Yeah, and that's going to look better anyway. It was just driven up all the way. That didn't look good. Yeah, so maybe we won't have to tilt the neck. And then when the customer comes, we are going to double check everything. He'll play a little bit and I can tweak things. I don't like how stiff this is. It hit that part of the gear, the A string tuning machine. Let's check. So I want this height to be down to about 80/1000 of an inch. It could be slightly lower for a short scale. Just a little bit more. Okay. Just a little bit more. Okay. This could be at 100 or slightly lower for a short scale. That's the low E, or the only E string on the bass. But we do get a little bit of arching here, which is going to settle over time, which is why you need, to tweak the setup after a while. So. Okay, that's good now, okay? And now we adjust the radius. Easy peasy with a radius gauge. So we have the radius gauge goes here. We know it's a 12-inch. We strike the string. It's starting to vibrate against this, okay? Now this one is way too high. So okay, and I feel and hear the vibration against the radius gauge. So now that's that. Now these screws do stick out, but in this case that's not a problem because we have a cover, right? And they're way too long, much longer than needed. Okay, so once again we retune the bass, and we're almost done. So the pickups now are again too close to the strings, especially the bridge pickup. And even this one. They're just mechanically too close. The vibrating string was hitting the pole piece. Oh, this is much nicer. The whole setup now is nicer. They really cranked up those pickups too high, and it looked ugly. And now we're getting it to a good height. So right now I'm just eyeballing the height there. We're not adjusting. We're not really setting up the pickups yet, right? Okay, so we want it to be in tune. So this A tuner is making me a little nervous because it is stiff. Let's tune the E. It has it's Bakelite or something. I think that's Bakelite. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen this string. I'm not going to remove it, but we are going to look at the gear if we can see it. Maybe there's like a metal shaving stuck there somewhere. I'm not sure if we'll be able to see it. So this might or might not be a cover, right? That is removable. I mean, they're not the best tuning machines, but the other three feel okay, and this one feels okay up until it hits a certain point. And then it feels like not okay. Okay, so this is what we see. So it is lubricated. So when I tighten it, it hits a point here somewhere where I believe there might be something stuck. Okay, so there's plenty of lubricant, but I am going to add some lubricant here. and you see, you know, particles. So yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, let's remove this. I'm looking for this. Sometimes there's like a small metal shaving that just gets stuck between the gear. This is called a pinion gear. This is called a worm drive, right? Okay. It's a maple neck. So this is one piece. This is another piece, the third piece. But there's maple veneer between this and this piece, and same thing here. And then there's another piece here and here, and shows here and here as well. So while we're at it, I'm going to check all the screws to make sure they're tight. I believe they are. I might have already checked that. Okay. Yeah, they are. Okay. Yeah, I even went past the A and it felt better, so that makes me feel better. Because sometimes what can happen is with these plastic or Bakelite knobs, they can actually break when you put too much tension, right? And where do we get a replacement? Okay, so I'm checking it acoustically. Although we ignore buzz that only happens acoustically, unless you hear it through the amp. Okay, let's just double check the action. I can always adjust it a little bit if the customer wants me to do it when he picks it up. No problem. It's not uncommon anywhere, right? Just looking at the height of the pickups. And now we'll do the compensation at the saddles for the intonation adjustment. Okay. And what do I need? I need a, oh, those are barrel saddles, so it's just going to be like on a telly, approximately correct. So the 2 strings on one saddle. And not the best thing, right? Especially for a short scale bass, but that's how it is. So we need the right size screwdriver. This is the one. Okay, cool. Playing position. Make sure it's in tune. D as well. Let's see what we got. Both play sharp. Okay, so that's no brainer, right? It's got to go in this direction. Okay, now it plays sharp even open, obviously, because we added this tension across the break angle, right? So D plays a little sharp, not surprisingly, because it should be behind the G. It's better if the G plays a little flat. It's always going to be some kind of compromise on these barrel saddles. Flat. Slightly sharp, slightly flat. So what do? Leave it as is? Let me see this string. The A and the E. Slightly sharp on both of them, which means they gotta go back. Just a little more. Just a little more. Okay, I'm gonna leave it like this for now. And let's see if the customer wants any adjustments. And we are basically done with the mechanical setup, with the exception that we'll see if this neck develops more relief overnight, which we can check. Oh, I'm really loving this. Look at this. Wow. Makes it really look cool. Look at this. Wow. Extendos. And now, friends, we adjust pickup heights. And then we go to bed, maybe. Or maybe I put another guitar on the workbench. I'm crazy that way. All right, so. Oh. Something's wrong with the switch. You see that? Well, we're not even getting any sound out of this pickup. Okay, I guess we got work to do. But can you hear this if I crank it up a little bit? Nothing. And here you can hear, but when I go up, nothing here. Even when it's in the middle, nothing. All right. So I was just working on the Hackstrom guitar that had a bad pickup unexpectedly. And I really didn't want to get involved with a pickup repair, but I guess I'm not finishing this unless it's something really simple. It's almost midnight. Should I even touch it? Well, now I want to know what it is. And clearly we need a new switch. So I'm just gonna take a guess. It's a bad switch, not a bad pickup. Okay, why is this so short? Look at that. This is the wire that goes to the bridge. It's really short, man. Okay. So, how do we know if we have a bad pickup or just a bad switch? There's an easy test. I don't like this output jack, but I'm not sure if a switchcraft type will fit. Let me see. Not sure. Let's deal with this later. That's a really unreliable output jack. And this is a professional musician. You gotta have a reliable output jack on any electric guitar or bass. Because the output jack fails, you don't have a guitar or bass. Okay, jumper cables. Where's the thing here? So we plug this in into the amp. Turn on the amp. Plug it into the output jack here. That's connected to jumper cables with alligator clips. And now the green one is ground. So we connect it to ground. Here we connect to one pickup. Which one is it? This one. And here we connect it to this pickup. Oh, that's, hold on. That's not what I wanted to see. No, that's this pickup. So on this one, we should have heard, but we're hearing this because it's internally connected. Okay. Well, I need to, well, we're going to have to change the switch anyway. And I don't like this switch at all. But once again, I don't know if a Switchcraft switch will fit. So let's start warming up the soldering iron. And while this is warming up, let's figure out if Switchcraft components can fit. So Switchcraft makes the best switches. So there's a long Switchcraft and a short one. So here is the long one, and here's the short one. So we want to see if the short one, and then they also make the angled one like for an SG, and that one would fit inside. So let me see the short one. Yeah, it will fit. Okay, so that's what I recommend installing inside. Now the long one, I just wanted to show you, I knew that it wouldn't fit. But now I'm looking for a Switchcraft jack. So what's the difference between the Switchcraft and this cheapo craft? That's the Switchcraft. Hi. So first of all, let me show you what's there now. Cheapo craft. That's the output jack, and that's the cheapo one. You see, that's the one. Okay, so it's one of those. Now Switchcraft is this one. Do you see the difference? So this part is long and double bent, and this one only has one bend and is short. And these can crack here. These never do. And just the whole connection, everything isn't good. And these can get forced in this direction, so you lose connection, you get crackling and bad connection. So because this one is longer, we want to make sure that it fits inside. And yep, it does. Okay, so very, very simple recommendation here. We change these two components, critical components, and that wire, grounding wire, needs to be extended. You can't even service this properly. So now I think maybe by now the soldering iron is hot enough. You know what? I don't have patience for this. We are just going to clip it here anyway. This wire is too short. We need to extend it. I'm going to couple it. And now we are looking at this, and we need to remove this one wire from this pickup so we can test it completely out of circuit. Right? That's it. And while we're at it, we remove this as well. We are changing the switch anyway because the switch doesn't work. So even if for whatever reason the customer insists to have this kind of switch, which I would really doubt that he would insist on that, we need to remove these wires anyway because the switch itself doesn't work, right? It doesn't stay put. And here we have this. Okay. That's it. Okay. All right. So we have this. Now we have access to each individual pickup completely out of circuit. I am a bit nervous about this. I don't have a good feeling about it, but let's not jinx it. So that's the ground connection. Turn on the amp. This pickup is this one. Okay, let's hope for the best. No. I mean, I'm kind of hearing it. But this one is really loud. So there is something wrong with this pickup. I mean, I'm kind of hearing it, but kind of is just not good enough. Friends, we have a bad pickup. Yeah, I had a bad feeling about it from the preliminary jumper wire test. It was not supposed to behave like that. All right. So the customer might be watching this or will be watching a replay if he's not watching now. And I'll discuss it. And once again, this is one reason why I do live streams of any work I do on any vintage instrument. So when people call me, or I don't pick up the phone usually, but text me, I don't even want to discuss any fees on any vintage instruments. It's going to be charged by the hour, and we'll see where it takes us. Because so many times in the past, I had to just, eat the cost of my extra time, because I said it would be done by a certain day and for a certain amount of money. And then I don't want to be like a car mechanic calling someone and saying, hey, now we opened the hood and we discovered this. No, it's a live stream. You can see everything happening. And that's it. So, yeah. Okay, so since we have a hot soldering iron, let's remove this output jack. the cheapo brand. Those should never. So if you ever buy an Epiphone or a Squier or any kind of Asian guitar, electric, first thing you do is change the output jack. That's the most important part of those, because they fail so frequently, I tell you, and you don't want it to fail during a gig. So yeah, so that's Switchcraft, but I have it here. Brand new, right? Switchcraft. So we are going to open a new box and install it. Not the rinky-dink one, the real thing. So there's a short and a long one. Let me see. I can't tell which is which just by looking at it. Oh, it says right here. I think that's the long one. You know, we can use it, yeah. So all parts is not the manufacturer. Switchcraft is the manufacturer. And let's see. We want to add one of those whenever we can, right? If we can. This one is too thick. Let me see. We're going to think of the orientation of this component like that, okay? And now let's tighten it. No, I'm not crazy about that. You know, so this will not fit here, no problem. So many times it's done without, and it's just fine. So we need to engage the entire thickness of the ring nut, because it's only got 1.5 threads going around, right? Okay, so that's good. All right, now this needs to go. Because it's broken, right? See, it doesn't even stay. You see that? So there's no debate about it. It doesn't work. This is debatable, but honestly, I know what this customer wants. He wants a reliable base. Okay, so we don't want this. We want the Switchcraft. Which is this one, which is also a brand new one. I opened it already. But they come with different rings. This is also a brand new one. These rings are different. Let me see which ring fits best. Not this one. Well, they're the same switch, it's different ring. Okay, we'll do that. Let's see if we can do this. Yeah, the one thing is that they don't come with these locking washers, and they really should. And now I don't have the right size. Must have used up. So I'll just wait. I'll just wait. Okay. All right, friends. That's that for tonight. So we need to figure out what's wrong with this pickup. And it's midnight. You know what? Let me put this switch here, and let me just make sure that it fits, right? So I'm just installing it like this, right? Just like that. And I might find one in the next day or two. Ah, come on. I always forget where I put things. So now what I want to do now is just make sure that it all fits inside. I really thought we were going to finish this tonight. If it weren't for this pickup. So, it doesn't matter if the wires are like this. We just want to do this. And see if it fits. Well, actually, these wires are in the way. Yeah, it's good. Look at that. Right? Okay, nice and comfortable. This is a Switchcraft switch. Excellent. And there plenty of space. So I'm going to have to discuss with the customer. This is going to be another project that could take me an hour or two to fix a pickup. I don't really know what it's going to take. And right now we just need to reassemble it together. I'll do this off camera, but I'll discuss it with him. Okay, friends. That's that. What happened right now is that my computer went dead. Now I know that I'm still streaming. I believe I am. And that's because my switcher is streaming, but my computer went dead because the battery went dead. Okay, let me see. Let's see. It's booting up. I might be able to see. Oh, I can see on my phone. If you can see me. Let's see. Yeah, still streaming. I can even see your comments here. Yeah, still streaming. I can even see your comments here. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. See, that's the delay. Okay. It says you're offline. Check your connection. See, that's the delay. Okay, no problem. So, friends, quickly read your comments. I really can't. I really appreciate all the comments. I really do. Let me see quickly here. Yeah, baby. It does look cool. When I just got the strings. Okay, we already answered that. So you don't, but not the way. Oh, we play. So you don't beat the neck, but not the way that you play. I don't understand. What is that fan thing you're doing? Can you explain what fan thing? I don't know what fan thing. Fan. What was I doing? Don't worry about comments. No, tell me what fan thing you meant. I don't understand. Fan thing that you're doing. Can you explain? I want to explain. I have a white Hi-Flyer Bass. Okay, we already commented on this. Okay, but no. Why did you put tape on headstock? We're not touching headstock. Can you explain? I'm asking why we put tape on the headstock. Okay, that makes sense. You better safe than sorry. Bass players always forget. We never hear them. No, we do hear them. Start a channel called Guitar Losers. Use propaganda to grow a channel. Okay, good idea. Not looks nasty. Okay, yes. Are you sure the owner isn't going to come back to you? Isn't going to come back to you. He's coming back. He wants me to work on more basses. That nut looks trash and plastic. Why don't you recommend a fishbone nut? Please explain. Well, it's the original nut. I have an opinion about plastic nuts. So plastic isn't one material, right? There's no one type of plastic. There's soft plastic, hard plastic. There's like thousands of plastics. Some plastic nuts are excellent in terms of the material, hard plastic. I think this one is really good. Now, it looks scratched up and all, but, you know, some people like the relic look or whatever, but this is a good nut. Trust me. Sorry, BRB, I don't know what that is. I'm Dodger fan, and we might win WS World Series, I guess. BRB, God bless you. I don't know what BRB is. Hi, peeps. That's Mr. Fat says. Mr. Dan Cruz says, whatever. Bet pickup, yeah. LOL, very true. And Dr. David says, thank you, doctor. Always appreciate the lessons, yeah. And what is this? Welcome to live chat. Remember to guard your privacy, okay? Maybe He's going to upgrade the pickup anyway. No, I don't want to upgrade. I don't want to fix it like we did on the previous guitar, the Hackstrom guitar. We fixed it. Don't worry about comments. I forgot the part, but you had a tool like a fan. BRB. Be right back. Okay. A tool like a fan. Like a fan like this, or a spinning fan. I don't know what I was using. I don't know. Doctor, I don't know. Okay, so friends, I gotta wrap it up. I'm gonna put the truss rod cover back. Let's do that. Feel free to ask more questions. Yeah, the pickup. Man, this is 2 vintage guitars out of 2 with a bad pickup, huh? Back to back. And did he know that? I guess he didn't. Let me check my notes, because, you know, sometimes I write, sometimes, yeah, often I write notes. Fix the switch. Okay, yeah. So we discussed that. He said fix the switch. I mean, I wrote it down. Okay, fix, meaning replace, right? But it turns out it's a bad pickup and a bad switch. I'm going to put this back for now. Reassemble. I don't tighten these all the way, by the way. I don't use a power tool to tighten these kind of screws. They go back in the same order. Hopefully. Did I lose one? No. I'll find it. It's somewhere here. Okay, where are you? Okay, it's got to be somewhere here. I'll find you. Oh, here it is. So maybe it's not going back in the exact same order, but they all look the same. Okay. Oh, this tool like a fan? These are feeler gauges. Different thicknesses. I think that's what you meant, right? To measure gaps. All right, so I need to change my MIM. Oh, made in Mexico Strat. Can you do a video? About what? I need to change my made in Mexico Strat. Can you do a video? About what? And Dr. Diana is asking what change mean. I break stuff, my tech fixes it, he gets paid, everyone is happy. Ha ha ha. Yeah. Yeah, as long as we have a healthy economy that everyone's spending money, on other people for services and for whatever. And then those people spend money back, and everybody makes money and spends money. We have an economy, right? We need to be paying for stuff. Okay. I'm too old for this. So friends, that's a real bummer, okay? I didn't want this to happen because I really wanted the... But look at the Extendos. I mean, they look... Oh, wow. Look at that. Whew. You know, it makes it look more dangerous. I really like how they, you know, extend out of the cover, this cover. Yeah, that's great, okay? And here we have it. So have a look at the base. Okay, so clearly, because we're not finishing it, so the neck will settle, and then I will double check in a couple of days. What is today? Saturday. I won't be here tomorrow. Yeah. Oh. Okay, friends. Time to go. It's bedtime. It happens, yeah. Los Sumbers, great color. Yeah, it's a great color. It's a great looking bass. And that's it for tonight. I will not be doing another live stream, I think. Okay. But I will do a quick recording for Instagram. Okay, that's it. That's all I'm going to do tonight. And then I'll head out. Get home safely. Thank you, Dr. David. I will. Okay, I'm on my bike. Like always, or most of the time on my bike. The other day I took a subway because of that crazy rain and flooding and all, right? Okay, kids, be safe, take care of yourself. Thank you so much, Dr. Dan. I will say good night. So let's see, how many are still watching? 5, 9 likes. Okay, everyone liked. At one point we had 12 people watching, but they left and they didn't like. Maybe they did like it. They just, you know, forgot to click. Okay, that's probably what happened. So, kids, good night. It's past our bedtime, so let me go. Bye-bye.